What's up, everybody? Welcome to In the Beginning. This is the setup for modern age books. Now, gloves, most important. There's a couple things that you guys need to realize about your modern age books. Number one, the paper quality is absolute the pits. It really is. Get this stuff out of the way. Also, the inks that are used nowadays are water-based. So you must be very, very careful when using any kind of humidity. Also, what you're going to need is a couple of different things. Number one, your temperature is going to be different. Your time is going to be different. So you're going to need a couple of things. Number one, you're going to have to switch out your metal plates that you normally would use. You're going to have to switch those out. So we're going to do that now. You're going to need to use a thicker metal plate. You can go on Immaculate Comics and he has these already pre-made for you. I'm going to take a paper towel here just to make sure there's no dust. Even though the comic's not sitting on it, we still want to make sure it's clean. I don't press modern age books anymore, but we're going to go through it. So you place your bottom plate, and just like you normally would, you're going to place your board shiny side up. Try to center it well. You're going to place your non-stick sheet on here. Now, the big difference is temperature and time. Number one, we're going to turn on our press and we are going to change. Right now I'm set at 164 degrees, which is what we would do for silver, bronze, and copper age, okay? So we're going to change that to 125. Okay, once we get this, now we're going to change our time from 550 seconds to 900 seconds. Wow, $8.99, that's pretty good. 900 seconds. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and lift this since it's already set. We're going to shut off our press. Okay? Now, the hardest thing about modern age books is the humidity. How much humidity are you going to add? You're going to add very, very little. Okay, you're going to need quite a few non-stick sheets. So I'm just going to grab a handful. Hopefully it's enough. I'm going to grab a bunch of non-stick sheets here. Also, you don't want to use a standard board. You want to use what's called a chaffer board. And what it is it's just a little bit thicker and it has a shaved end. What that's going to do is it's going to keep the position of the spine proper. Okay? Now, most problems with modern age books is simple. They're wrinkled. You get them and they're really wavy. That's because believe it or not, the inks are still a little moist. That's why when people are getting these new from their distributors, there's a lot of color rub, especially on the back of the books, because they're not packaged properly. They slide in and out of each other and they rub off. Okay, that's why it's really hard. So when you go to press a modern age book, make sure when you look at it, there's no color rub. Because if there's color rub, it's going to really take off from the grade. It's definitely not going to get a 9.8, and you can't fix that without adding color to it, which is restoration, and that you don't want to do anyway. I don't, like I said, I don't press them, but this is one of my, believe it or not, I love this new cover of the Moon Knight. It's a pretty sick cover. So I'm just going to press this just to show you guys how to set it up, okay? I'm going to check the camera real quick, make sure that I get a close-up of this. I don't want anybody missing anything, okay? Sorry about that. Okay, so there's your book. We're going to set it up, okay? It's very, very, very simple. Okay, I don't put anything in the middle of the book. You can, but I don't. There's really no need for me. I'm going to take, I'm not going to use this one. It's got a wrinkle in it that I don't use. So we're going to take a non-stick sheet and we're going to place it in the middle, right on top of the staples. And then what we're going to do is we're going to close the page on it. Now, the thing is, when you're setting these, you want to be very, very, do your due diligence, be very patient. You want it as far in as you possibly can, because even if you press this book and you've done a good job and it looks really good and you go to open it up, guess what? The pages have stuck together near the spine because you did not place the non-stick sheets in far enough, okay? So now, that's the first page laid over. Then we're going to count 1, 2. Then we're going to add another. Again, we're going to get it in as far as we can, close the page and hold it. Then we're going to do the same thing. 1, 2. Then we're going to add another. I always do shiny side up. They're non-stick no matter what, so I don't think it matters. So we're going to push that in with our thumb. That way we don't catch any of the others. And we're going to do the same thing. We're going to go all the way to the cover. So I'm at the cover. So now that we're at the cover, you're going to take your chaffer board. You're going to find the shaved edge. It can be a pain in the light, which is right here. And we're going to place it all the way against the book, as far in as we can. We're going to set it down, and then we're going to add a non-stick sheet on top of that. Then we're going to push a little bit on the book, and then we're going to grab it, and we're going to flip it over, and we're going to find our middle page, which we found. Drop the first page and open the book. At this point now, we want to turn on our steamer and our press. Get it to temperature. Then we're going to count the pages and do the same thing. 1, 2. Going to grab this page, lift it, place our non-stick, push it down. 1, 2. One, 2. Now we're at the back cover. So now we're going to do the same thing. We're going to add our chaffer board. And another non-stick sheet. And now the book is ready. It's now set up. We're just going to make sure everything didn't slide on us. Then we want to grab it firm. and hold it. Now it's got a little waviness to it. It's probably going to be hard to see. We got steam coming out. So now we're just going to do a quick pass. And then come back. That's it. Same thing on the back. That's it. That's all the humidity we need. This is up to temperature. We're going to stop that from going off. So the bottom has been heated. Now we're going to place our book. The chaffer board will give you a good edge to slide it in. Okay? So now we're going to take our parchment paper. We're going to add it to the top, starting from the back, pulling it forward. We're going to take another, I'm not going to use that board, it's got a booger on it. I'm going to take another board, shiny side down, same thing. Back to the press, down. Put your fingers on the parchment paper and pull your thumbs forward, flattening the book. Then we're going to add another piece of parchment paper. And now our other thick metal plate. And then the last piece of parchment paper on top of that. And now we're going to drop the hammer. We're going to check. Now remember, we just did a modern book, but it was an older modern. We did an ASM 300. So we have to back this off because now we're using thicker plates. See, still too firm. I don't want to crush it. So just gently lift it and back it off. It's still too firm. And also remember, we're using chaffer boards, which are also thicker. That's perfect. Barely used just a little bit of pressure to get it to drop. Our timer's going off. Now, this is the most important thing. After your 900 seconds is up, don't relieve this. Don't do anything. When your alarm goes off that the 900 seconds is over, come in, turn off your press, and immediately turn it back on. It'll already be at the ambient temperature you want it at, and you'll recycle it again with pressure at another 900 seconds. Then when that timer goes off, come in, turn off the press. Don't touch this. Let it go into its cold press stage, which usually takes about 2 hours to get this to be completely cold. Then come in, remove all the material that you put inside the book. Reset everything. Your metal plates, your parchment paper, your boards. Reset the whole thing. Drop it a little bit because now you've removed some of the thickness. It'll be really loose. Retighten it, which is usually about 2 full turns. Drop the hammer back down after everything has been reset, and then leave it for 24 hours. Then come back after 24 hours, lift your press, remove the book, and have a non-stick sheet board, and I will set that up for you, and your acrylic plate waiting. So here is your acrylic plate. Here is your board, shiny side up. You're going to take one of your non-stick sheets, shiny side up. You're going to place it on top of that board. Please make sure that your surface is clean. Then you're going to simply, I'm just going to use a different book. Then simply and carefully, with gloves on, place your book in the middle, like that. Take your acrylic plate, set it down toward the back of the spine, and slowly lay it down. And as you feel it start to teeter because it's hit the spine, then just push down like that. That'll take any wrinkling that what might occur when you do this step. It'll pull it out. Then once you have it in this state, you want to take your weights. I have some 4-pounders. I generally use 10-pounders, but here's some 4-pounders. I use the neoprene because it sticks to the acrylic, which is what I like. Then you want to start with a high point, and you want to set it directly on the spine and let it roll forward, and that's where your first weight should stay, right there. Then you take your second weight and you put it right almost against the other weight, and then same way, point, and then you let it fall forward, and that's about how you want to leave it. Leave it in this state for a minimum of 4 days. You need to retrain the paper fiber to lay flat. Okay? If you still show a little bit of waviness, you can always repress. But if you have more waviness, it means all that really means is you've added too much moisture in your moisture step. Okay? That's all that means. You've added more water to the watery ink. Okay? So that's how you want to leave it. So then after 4 or 5 days, have your bag and board ready. Put on your gloves because you do not want to add fingerprints to your freshly pressed book. Simply roll the weight off. Put your hand on the acrylic glass, roll the weight off the other way, and pull it off. And then slowly from the spine side, lift the acrylic board off and then walk it away. Do not lean it. Get it away from you, because if you lean it up against the wall or wherever you're working, it could slide down, it could hit the book, and you just screwed yourself, because now you either rip the book or you put a big thing that you're going to have to repress the book. And then gently, normally what I do, I don't know why I just did that, because I don't do that. I slide the non-stick off, and I go like this, and then I'll slowly just pull the book off, lay the acrylic down, the non-stick sheet down, and then I will go ahead and place it in my bag and board. Okay? So I hope that you guys get everything you needed on how to set up a modern age book. Just be mindful of what you're working with. Also, there are different types of paper being used on other modern age books. The Something is Killing the Children. It's a thicker a paper. I can't remember the name of the what is it? House of Slaughter. That is really thick paper, and it needs a little bit different. It might take a little bit more humidity on that because it's a thicker stock. Okay? So I hope that you guys get everything you needed on how to set up a modern age book. Do not take a shortcut or you will regret it. Okay? Now, this is the way I set it up. It's not necessarily going to work or be how somebody else wants to do it. It's just the way that I do it. So for the Comic Book Underground, I am Big John, and I'm out.